It's go time. It's go time. It's go time, man. Rookie development. What does it mean? What's the process? What are the expectations? We're going to get into all that and more right here on the San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. Let's go.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Crocker. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Cross Talk TV podcast. Peace.
Welcome to another episode of the San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. I'm your host, former NFL, AFL defensive back, Eric Crocker, and we're getting into it this morning, man. We're getting into it this morning, talking about rookies and some of the conversation I've been seeing, floating around on social media, and that's where I get my topics from, man. I see what people are talking about. I have my opinion, and I'm like, you know what? That would be a good topic for today's show. All right, so we're going to get into all that and more. But first, make sure if you're not already subscribed to the Locked On 49ers, Locked On 49ers show with myself, Brian Peacock, my guy Brian Peacock. That's my co-host. All right, make sure you guys tune into that. We got Locked On NFL Draft with myself, Ryan Tracy. Listen to that, getting into some deep draft talks right about now. All right, so make sure you guys start getting into that, some of the prospects and everything going on with that. We got Underdog Fantasy. Download the app, underdogfantasy.com. Or, once you get in there, use promo code Crocky. They'll match whatever you put in there, whatever you deposit, they'll match that up to $100. So Underdog Fantasy, get into that. And as a group, we just won, $200? So I'm putting that back into the show, and we're going to do a gift giveaway. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. Excited to get that going. Manscaped. All right, you already know what it is, man. Stop walking around looking crazy. Go get sexy for your lady. Manscaped.com. They got the new Performance Pack 4.0. Trim everything from your nose hairs down to your toes and everything in between. Manscaped.com. Promo code Crocky. Go do that right now. But, man, let's get into it, man. Ambry Thomas, rookie. I don't even know. I'm not even going to start with Ambry Thomas. I'm just going to start with rookies and the expectations of rookies and what does that mean? Are rookies, when somebody says somebody's ready to play, what exactly, what does that mean? Ready to play? Oh, he's ready or he's not ready. All right. So there's a development process with all of these guys, but I don't think in a way that people think. I think when people hear development, they think from maybe a technical standpoint or an ability standpoint. And more times than not, that's not what it is. All these guys are supreme athletes, most of them, right? The guys getting drafted, you get drafted first few rounds, man, you're a terrific athlete. And a lot of times you come with a certain level of technique and other things that you can learn to improve on your game, of course. But that's typically not what it means to develop as a rookie. A lot of times it's the mental aspect of it. Understanding, where you should be, where can you be, where should your eyes be, you're reading your keys. We went over it yesterday, right? Your act, all right? Your AAKT, your act, your assignment, your alignment, your keys, and your techniques. Understanding that on every play. And not just understanding that on every play, but once a guy motions, what do I do now? If a guy motions and now I got trips to my side instead of, twins, what do I do? Is the back near or away? How does that change my assignments? Being able to kind of really figure out those things on the fly and then be able to play fast. And I'd say, with my time with the Jets, when I was a rookie, it wasn't that I wasn't a good athlete. No, I wasn't a supreme athlete, but the game, it was so fast for me. It's man, all this stuff is new. It's all different. I'm not used to this. I'm not doing things this way. I have to learn this way on top of understanding the playbook and what it's asking me to do. And okay, how do I simplify this for myself? How do I get it to where I can play fast? And I think that's where a lot of times, especially at a position where you need to play fast, you can think about things too much. Some of the, coverages, whether, it's a too high, whether it's a cover two, when do I sink? How do I sink hard right here? Do I play a little shallow? When do I give up the underneath pass as opposed to playing, the the whole shot, whatever it is, all those things. And a lot of times it's trial and error. It's everything with this show or with business in general, right? How many of you guys have a business that you run or your own, platforms and understanding things, trial and error, and how to fix certain things? I mean, look at me. Just yesterday, this YouTube channel was called Frontline Sports Media. Now it's called Eric Crocker, right? That's me. I'm figuring it out, right? I'm just figuring out different ways to do things, and I'm having meetings and I'm talking about it with guys. I'm getting opinions. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And those things aren't going to happen overnight. You're going to have some level of ups and downs with things, or trial and error, all those good things. So I think ultimately it's all good, right? Like all those things are good. All those things, go into getting better, becoming better. So, and that's with every position in football, especially two of the harder positions with quarterback and cornerback. I had a comment yesterday on one of my videos that I posted to Twitter, and the guy said, Ambry Thomas sucks or he's trash, And my thing was, what does that mean? How do we know that? How do we know that? And what goes into, what do you guys expect? All right, so let's start with that. What are the expectations for rookies? If you want a rookie to play, and it's a rookie in his first start, what are your expectations for that guy? Do you guys expect him to come in and just be shut down, locked down? Or let's say it's a quarterback. Do you expect a rookie quarterback to come in and make every throw, make every play, make every read? Say if it's a linebacker trying to, figure out his run gaps and, match that up with what he's supposed to do in pass coverage. Did y'all watch, what was it? Hard Knocks with the Dallas Cowboys. Did you guys watch that? Did you guys see Parsons, Michael Parsons, and how there were times where he looked like he was just a chicken with his head cut off, right? Just running around. And a lot of it just like the experience, the reps, like seeing it, understanding it, and understanding what goes into getting better and wanting to get better, right? Like that's a big part of it, wanting to get better, having the opportunity to get better, having the opportunity to learn instead of getting yanked out every time maybe you make a mistake. So what are the expectations, right? You look at Michael Parsons now, was it going into week 14 or whatever, week 15, whatever week he's about to be. And Michael Parsons is one of the guys up for defensive player of the year, not even just defensive rookie. He's winning defensive rookie of the year, no doubt. But he's up there for potentially be defensive player of the year, Michael Parsons. But if you would have watched Michael Parsons in, on Hard Knocks and preseason, you would say this guy's lost. He's lost out there. Well, yeah, of course, he's lost, and then he found his way. Why? How? Reps. Getting better. Making mistakes. Learning from those mistakes. There has to be a bigger picture when it comes to rookies. They are seeing a lot of things for the first time. And I'm telling you this, man, like the NFL game, it's so much more complex than college football. Most college football teams, what we see from them and what they're getting, this is kind of some of the transition going from college to the NFL. Now, again, I went to a smaller school. I went to a Division II school. All right, so maybe that's why it wasn't as complex for me. But I also see what other, university. I watch college football. I see what they're doing. They line up in it. How often do you see guys motion? How often do you see guys under center? A lot of times in college, they see the same, formations, right? It's way more simplistic. They play fast. So it takes a lot of thinking out of everything, right? A lot of colleges are going, they don't even huddle up. They just get in, they line up, defense lines up, okay, cover four, they send the cover four, and then boom, the play goes. Well, you get to the NFL, they're on the center, they're on a shotgun, they're doing read options, they are, they're playing spread, their passing concepts are much more difficult to defend. The formations that they're doing with it, they start with a guy here, motion them here, bring them back, got moon motions. There's so much more to think about. And that's just on the offensive side. That's not including the defense. They're showing this. Look at college. Go watch a college game and see how much they really like disguise their coverages. A lot of times, secondary just line up in it. The defense just line up in it. You'll see a guy disguise every once in a while. Now watch Minnesota Vikings, and watch Harrison Smith. Harrison Smith will line up at the line of scrimmage, look like he's potentially blitzing, look like he's going to play the run from there. And next thing you know, at the snap, he bails out to a too high, or he's playing over here, bails out way over here, and does these things. Like the looks are way different. It's much more confusing. So it takes time to see these things, understand where you're going to go. All right, now I'm talking about it from a defensive standpoint. We're going to get to Ambry Thomas. Ambry Thomas was targeted 4 times. He gave up 3 catches. His passer rating against him was 156.3. That's almost perfect. He gave up a touchdown, and he also had the would-be touchdown with the one that was kind of like barely dropped or whatever. And it's like, well, of course, he has to learn. He has to learn. Now, you could say, well, this is why the 49ers haven't been playing him. You could also say, well, if the 49ers have been playing him, would he be better now for it? So then it comes to, what's Kyle Shanahan's, I don't want to say his expectations for rookies. I think Kyle Shanahan has a realistic expectation of where his rookies are and what they need. Now, it's what's his patience with his rookies or what he's willing to tolerate. And I think that's why a lot of times you don't see Kyle's rookies in there. But I can't, this is what everybody's doing. All right. And if you continue to do this, you're just going to keep, it's like a hamster in a wheel. All right. You draft Ambry Thomas. Now, everybody's issue is really, it's kind of like he wasn't drafted high enough. Ambry Thomas was a terrific athlete drafted at cornerback. Terrific athlete. Let me look at his numbers. I believe it was 6'1", 190 something pounds, ran a 4.37. Ambry Thomas was a good athlete coming out of college. All right. He was able to go late third round, because for a couple of reasons. One, he didn't play last year. He opted out. 2, he wasn't like a big time prospect or anything like that, but people were actually thinking if he came back, he was going to be a higher prospect. All right. But the 49ers were able to kind of, okay, let's get him now and let's draft and develop a guy who, just missed a year. All right. Now, the big issue that 49er fans are having with Ambry Thomas is, I don't even want to say with Ambry Thomas. The 49ers fans are having an issue with how the 49ers are addressing the secondary. That's what the issue is. They don't like the fact that the 49ers didn't spend a second on a cornerback. So that's why the secondary is bad. The 49ers, in their eyes, I don't think it's that bad, but in their eyes, the 49ers secondary is bad because they didn't draft guys high enough. When that's not what it is. The 49ers secondary isn't in an ideal situation for a couple reasons. One, they're going out there right now with none of their original starting cornerbacks. That's difficult. It's not a guy like Josh Norman off the street. You have to play him. That's difficult. If it wasn't him, you probably have Dante Johnson out there. That's a little difficult. But they drafted Ambry Thomas and Deommodore Lenoir to eventually become the guys. Now, here's the thing. Just because you draft a guy high does not mean that he's going to be good or stop other guys from being productive. And we talked about that a little bit yesterday. Just because I draft a corner first round does not mean that a Jamar Chase, who was drafted in the top 5, is not going to have a productive game against a cornerback. Hell, I think 5 catches for 77 yards is actually doing kind of well against him. Not bad. It's not bad. Well, I mean, I don't understand what the expectations for rookies are in the first start. So now the issue is because Ambry Thomas wasn't drafted as high, it's, oh no, 49ers need to draft another guy. Now, but this is the issue. This is what y'all going to get into. When you draft for corner, let's say the 49ers draft for corner second round. The moment he goes out there and gets beat by Jamar Chase, is going to be, oh, he sucks. Or he this and that. Or he's a bust. And it's like, dude, can we let some of these young guys develop a little bit? Can you give some of these young guys some time? Can you give them some time? Now, some guys hit the ground running and they do extremely well. I saw this last year with our guy Jeffrey Okuda. Jeffrey Okuda was a terrific talent. He was drafted number 3 overall. I wouldn't have drafted number 3 overall, but I just wouldn't draft a corner that high. But okay, you drafted number 3 overall. He was really good at Ohio State. Everybody loved him. Can't miss prospect. Best thing since Deion Sanders. That's what it was telling me, right? But the moment he comes in and he gets, kind of whooped by, I don't know, Devontae Adams or Valdez Scantling runs off on him on the sideline. Now it's like, well, he's just a bust. He can't play. And it's like, man, he can't find his way. He can't work to get better. He can't improve. He can't understand more of what's asked of him and maybe how he has to play different in the NFL game. There's no patience with anything when it comes to rookies anymore. I saw some tweets this morning, and again, most of my topics come from the posts of the fan base. I saw some tweets this morning. I don't even know how I ended up seeing this. It was on my timeline somehow. And the guy was like, yeah, Trey Lance is a bum. It's like, Trey Lance is a bum now? Trey Lance is a bum. Because Jimmy's a starter? I don't understand some of the logic when it comes to rookies and the expectations. I had one of my guys, one of my homies, man. He had tweeted out how Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, they just suck. And my thing is, again, like they're rookies. My philosophy is this. I'm not judging anyone in their first year. Now, can you get excited about certain things? Of course. Can you get excited about a certain skill set? Of course. But I'm not judging a rookie. Now, I want to see, okay, where, the areas where that guy can improve, where does he need to get better? Okay, I see this. Okay, Ambry Thomas. This is my thing. You know what my main takeaway from the Ambry Thomas performance was? Okay, I want to see, like, in the next game, if he has to play, if he has to start, how do they tell him to change up things if they run a too high? Maybe they don't run too high. I think a lot of the too high was because of who they were playing against, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, who went vertically, right? So maybe they don't, but let's say they go too high and they run some more cover 2. Well, all right. How quickly now does he diagnose when he can sink hard, when he doesn't need to sink, when he can drive this, when he can drive that? Hey, maybe the coaches learned a lot about how they can play Ambry Thomas and how they can't. Hey, you know what? Ambry Thomas was a press man corner at Michigan. Ambry Thomas played his zone coverage from press alignment at Michigan. You know what? He didn't do very well from off coverage. Maybe we should play Ambry Thomas in press. You know what I'm saying? Coaches need to learn too. Coaches have to learn things. Coach 7-on-7, right? I coached 7-on-7, and we had our first practice over the weekend. And with me, it was I just need to see where they're at. So I know where I need to work on and where I need to put guys. And maybe the 49ers need to see where Ambry Thomas was at. Okay, does this well. Okay, didn't do this well. Hey, let's not put him in this situation. Okay, hey, we want to build up to where he could play like this, but maybe right now he's not quite there yet. So let's bring him along in that area, but let's use him in this way now. We saw some of that with Kyle Shanahan with Trey Lance, right? Nobody liked how many times Trey Lance ran the ball. I don't think that was necessarily the plan. I don't think that was the goal. I don't think it was, hey man, like we're gonna run Trey Lance 16 times. I don't think that was the case. Now, I do think they tried to incorporate an offense that nobody can hear me. Uh-oh. Okay, some people can hear me. What happened? I don't know what happened, y'all. All right, but anyways, sometimes my mic gets muted. I don't know. But I don't know. Some people said they can't. They can hear me. Some people can't. All right, but anyways, I lost my train of thought. At the end of the day, when it comes to rookies, man, there has to be some level of patience and understanding of where they are and where they're going. And with Ambry Thomas, I don't think anything that I saw was an ability issue. I think it was more so of a I have to understand more the NFL game, what I can, what I can't do, on top of playing against a terrific prospect in Jamar Chase. So when it comes to rookies, I have a totally different lens on them. I see them through a different lens. I would never say a rookie sucks after playing one start. That's just wild. Croc, you take it far too sensible for most fans. Thomas had a really tough assignment for us for a start. Got to stop in the hands of the face. Right. Now, with the hands of the face, and again, it's not so much just the fans. I listen to podcasts and I listen to what guys are saying, but the hands of the face, that's a tough one because there's a chance Ambry Thomas doesn't get another hands to the face for the rest of his career without changing anything that he's done, but never gets another one. I mean, that's one of those things that's kind of a little bit more random. I'd equate that to, yeah, I don't know why some people can hear me, some people can't. All right, so I'd equate it to Jimmy Garoppolo just dropping the ball in the open field, right? That was something really wild, right? Where you see him, he just out there, and then he just patting the ball, and then all of a sudden Jimmy just drops the ball, and you're like, what the heck? And you might not see Jimmy Garoppolo drop a ball for the rest of his career. That's kind of like hands to the face with pressing. Sometimes, your hand, when you go and hit a guy and he's moving and your hand just slides up and it hits the face mask, and it seems like that's what happened with Ambry Thomas against Jamar Chase. So, yeah. But I appreciate the contribution there. There's one other thing I want to touch on, or two things. Here we go. Peter King. Real quick, if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You guys got to stop trolling because I can't tell if you guys can hear me or not. So, I don't know what the heck that is. I don't know what's going on. Chase was swiping up to make Thomas' hands hit his face. I mean, I don't want to say Jamar Chase isn't saying, oh, yeah, if he hits me in my chest, I'm going to swipe this way, then his hand is going to, like, it's not a purpose thing. It's just, that's just receiver using their hands to get the hands off from the defensive back. But, yeah, ideally it's like, hey, change your target point. Shoot more here. But again, shooting here, trying to hit a guy in the chest, getting your hands in his chest, that helmet, that face mask is right there too, and there is that opportunity of getting it. So how do you fix that? I'm not sure. But Ambry Thomas, listen, Ambry Thomas is going to be fine. I think he has the skill set. I think he has the ability. Now it's just understanding the NFL game, what he can do, what he can't do, where he can play certain zones. I saw whole shots. He has to understand right now. Again, you got your act, right? Assignment, alignment, keys, technique. If I'm reading 2-1, say it's cover 2, which they ran a lot of cover 2. So a lot of times cover 2, I'm reading 2, and I know I have flats, right? Now, if nothing's holding me in my flats, then I can sink. So if 2 goes away right now, I can really sink under whatever 1 does, right? So if 1 does come more of like a bench route where he like dives in, goes up, and come back out, if 2 goes away, I can sink under that. Now, sometimes they'll send something out there to hold the defensive back, and that makes it tougher, right? Now, let's say I'm reading 2-1. 1 does a 5-yard sit. 2 does a corner route. The corner has to understand, and diagnose it really quick to see, hey, can I sink underneath 2? And those things are just things that, he'll learn. Now, Diamador Lenore, I see somebody say you like Thomas over Lenore. Diamador Lenore, he did a lot of those things at Oregon. A lot of what Lenore did at Oregon was, zone, some off work and things like that. So I think he's a little bit more well-versed and a little bit more suited to do those things right now, as opposed to Ambry Thomas, who primarily played press at Michigan. So that's an area where Michigan has to, or not Michigan, it's not on them, but Ambry Thomas has to develop in that aspect. And I think it's going to happen. I wouldn't be too worried about it. What you're explaining now, this is what CBs suck at. No zone eyes. I think some corners do have good zone eyes, but again, a lot of it just how have they been developed? What have they been taught? How are they seeing the game? And at the NFL level, there's just way more to worry about. There's a lot more that goes into it. So I do think they try to simplify it for Ambry Thomas. And we also have to remember, and my guy Mike Andrews brought it up, Ambry Thomas was not that he wasn't, they weren't preparing to play him or start him. They were preparing to play Dante Johnson. And he had an unfortunate death in the family. So Dante Johnson was supposed to start. I would guess Ambry Thomas didn't know he was starting until maybe the day before the game. And maybe that's why they simplified things. Because there's a lot that goes into a game plan. Let's talk about that. And then we'll get to Peter King and his comments. There's a lot that goes into a game plan. When I played with the San Jose SaberCats, right? Arena Football League, different game. When teams lined up, whoever was in motion, down and distance, the formation of it, whatever it was, we knew exactly what they were going to do. We were so well prepared. Every time they did this, if this guy was in high motion and this guy had this tight split, oh, we know what he's doing. Okay, he's going to do this and do that. All right, so you take away this, you do that. We knew everything that they were going to do. And we repped it. The starters repped it all week. That was what we repped. Everything that they were going to do, how they were going to try to attack us, who they were going to try to attack us with, whatever. That was what we did. NFL, same way, right? The NFL, you got Dante Johnson. That's who the coaches are talking to. Hey, Dante. All right, so they come out in this formation. If they do this guy dives in here. Expect this. And if he doesn't get that, then you can get this. Like, there's a lot. And they go over a ton of plays, and they work that, right? And the defensive backs, they understand what the coordinator wants to do against them and how they want to do it. But when you're not the starter and you're not the one that they've been preparing for, and you haven't been getting those reps in practice against what it is that Cincinnati's going to do, then that's probably why you saw the defensive coordinator simplify things and just say, hey, we're just going to run cover 2. When they probably just would have been better off saying, with Ambry Thomas, hey, we're just going to play cover 1. Just play man. Play man press. That would have been better. Now, also, there's a difference between, I saw some people, they were talking about the 2 penalties and, with the hands to the face with Ambry Thomas. And they were like, well, they did press him and he got hands to the face. If I'm not mistaken, it looked like a reroute, not so much even pressing. All right, so what's a reroute? A reroute is just if I'm in cover 2 or whatever and the guy's about to run through my zone, I push them or, reroute them, and then I probably sag off. Or sometimes you'll see guys reroute and squeeze until something brings them off of that, depending on the zone. Sometimes it depends if it's a match or whatever. But when he got the 2 illegal hands to the face, that was just a reroute. That wasn't even him just at the line of scrimmage, press man or anything like that. It was just reroute. Let me push him in just to slow him down for the safety or whoever else needs might, sink under, hook player or whatever the case is. So that's kind of some of the things that go into that. I think having Norman held them from playing more man. I could see that being the case. Now, I don't think T. Higgins is necessarily going to just run away from Josh Norman. So I still would have did it, especially if you're going to go to too high. I'd go with a little bit more too high man stuff. Joe Mixon was a little, illness or whatever the case is. I'd trust my linebackers on him in man coverage. Cover 6 would have been nice. Cover 6, cover 4, cover 2. It's essentially kind of some of the same stuff. I mean, yeah, it's cover 6 is cover 4 to one side, cover 2 to the other side. I don't know how much that would have changed it. I know in cover 4 you can kind of play a little bit more like man, but yeah, man. Ambry Thomas, y'all, he's gonna be all right, man. Ambry Thomas is gonna be all right. Rookie's gonna be all right. Like I can't make any definitive statement one way or another on a rookie. A lot of times I just try to see, all right, what is his skill set? How can you build on that? What are areas he needs to improve on? And then you see if he improves on it. And you give that time. But a definitive, he's this or he's that. Come on, man. It's a little premature. Who you can know who they are is Jimmy Garoppolo. After what's it been? 8 years in the NFL, 8+ years in the NFL. Jimmy Peter King came out and basically said that the 49ers have been impressed with how Jimmy Garoppolo has handled this entire situation. And there's a potential that, they haven't made a decision if he's going to be there next year or not. Right. And I hear that. And all that tells me is if the 49ers have not made a decision on if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be here next year or not, then that means he's not going to be here. You know what I'm saying? If the 49ers strongly felt like they needed him to be here next year, then they would be like, yeah, he's going to be here. Now, here's the thing. One, they don't have to make a decision right now. Why would they? If you're the 49ers, why would you, to the media or Peter King or anyone else, if you are the 49ers, why would you say, yeah, we're in the middle of a playoff run. We're the 6th seed right now, gunning for the 5th seed. We got Jimmy Garoppolo as our starting quarterback. Jimmy's playing well, but he ain't gonna be here next year. No, that's not gonna happen. Everybody knows what the situation is. Now, I'm not saying that there's no scenario where Jimmy Garoppolo won't be here next year, because you never know what can happen. Hey, maybe an injury to something, or maybe, whatever the case is. Maybe Trey Lance just is so terrible, right? And you feel like, well, he might need another year, whatever the case is. All right. But Jimmy Garoppolo, he is what he is. I would go as far as to say that, what is Jimmy Garoppolo? And I think that's, I started thinking about today. I was listening to a 49er podcast and they were talking about him, and they were saying, basically, and it was Chris Biederman. It was the Candlestick Chronicles podcast. I was listening to it while I was working out. And they were saying that the 49ers at 7-6, Jimmy Garoppolo 7-5 on the season, that's a little bit more indicative of what his skill set is. And I would say, okay, I can see that. And I think the issue with Jimmy Garoppolo is kind of like, what is he, right? Because he wins a good amount of games. And I started to think about it. And I was like, who is Jimmy Garoppolo? He's Andy Dalton. He's Andy Dalton. Now, there's nothing wrong with Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton went to several playoff appearances. I'm not saying he's Andy Dalton today. I think Jimmy's a little bit better than Andy Dalton today. But if you look at Andy Dalton early in his career, he won a lot of games with the Bengals. He was a good quarterback. Like, he was going to the playoffs and all that. Now, I think with Andy Dalton, it was kind of like, well, he kind of is what he is. And you might look at him as somebody that you potentially want to move on from. Jimmy is Andy Dalton, but injured. So if you look at Andy Dalton and you look at let's look at his stats, right? His win. We're going to talk about win-loss and his stats and kind of who Andy Dalton is. And really, again, when it comes to Jimmy Garoppolo, it's similar, but with, and where are we at? Right here. Share. All right, so hopefully you guys can see these numbers here. All right, so Andy Dalton for his career. Now, the biggest difference is Andy Dalton just played a lot more. All right, but in his first 5 years, 9-7, 10-6, 11-5, 10-5-1, 10-3 because he missed 3 games. For the first 5 years, he won a lot of games. 33 touchdowns, 27 touchdowns. Essentially, that's kind of what Jimmy Garoppolo is. He's an Andy Dalton caliber quarterback. And I think that's fine. I see my guy right here. He says, Jimmy Garoppolo is definitely better than Andy Dalton. Jimmy Garoppolo. So here we go. You're kind of saying what I'm saying. Jimmy Garoppolo is definitely better than Andy Dalton. Jimmy Garoppolo is a poor man's Drew Brees. Well, what's a poor man's Drew Brees? A poor man's Drew Brees is Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton was good. Like, he was a solid starting quarterback. Again, quarterback the Bengals, and they won a lot of games. They went to the playoffs a lot. And he was in a tough division with every year having to compete against the Ravens and the Steelers. Remember, Steelers haven't had a losing season since, I don't know when. they've had winning seasons or 800 as long as their head coach right now has been there. And Baltimore, they've been a winning team damn near the whole time as well. So Andy Dalton, while being in the AFC North, playing against Tomlin, playing against Harbaugh, he was winning. And that's a tough division to play in. That's kind of what he is in the sense of, like, you watch him and it's like, man, you just want that little bit of more. And you're probably never going to get that. But it's like, well, I win games with him. It's kind of what he is. So I was kind of thinking about that. But anyways, back to our guy, Peter King. So he talks about it and he says, yeah, they haven't made a decision. Well, of course, they can't say that. If you want Jimmy Garoppolo to be the best version of him that he can be right now, Jimmy knows what the situation. He knows he's gone. He knows he's gone. Y'all know he's gone. Jimmy knows he's gone. Shanahan, those guys know he's gone. Like, there's no ways around it. So what Jimmy can do is put his best foot forward and play his best football, because he's auditioning. When you are a bottom of the roster guy, I was a bottom of the roster guy for the New York Jets, right? And I remember him in OTAs, in training camp, in preseason. What do they say to those bottom of the roster guys? You guys are competing. You guys are auditioning for other teams. That's what they tell you. Obviously, you're trying to make that team, but you're auditioning for other teams because your chances of making it are very slim. Right now, Jimmy Garoppolo is auditioning for other teams. He knows that. So people keep talking about how he's handling the situation. How do you expect him to handle it? Because right now, Jimmy Garoppolo's future lies on how he handles this situation right now. If he handled this situation crappy and he had a sour attitude and he had a bad attitude about it and he didn't come in and try to play his best football, he's not getting that big contract moving forward, because that's what he's going to want, right? Whoever he gets traded to, or whatever happens, he's going to want to, restructure his contract and be with somebody long term. Like, he has to handle the situation well, because if he doesn't, he's gone. Like, nah, man, they drafted Trey Lance, number 3 overall. Man, I'm finna come in here and I'm just gonna be mad the whole time. I'm just gonna be an asshole the whole time. He can't do that. Jimmy Garoppolo is auditioning for other teams right now, and it's better for him to do extremely well, so people want him. He makes more money. That's what it's about. Now, it helps everybody, right? If Jimmy Garoppolo does well, 49ers have a good playoff push, and they're winning. Awesome. And they potentially can get more back in return for him. For Jimmy Garoppolo is wherever he does go, he can get paid more money. And that's what you want, right? You want to win, you want money, you want all that good stuff. So it's really worth it all the way around for Jimmy Garoppolo to do good, play well, and handle this situation. I don't, again, now he could have handled it bad. I can't tell him how to handle the situation. Definitely could have handled the situation poorly. But that ain't going to help him. You know what I'm saying? So you got to handle it like a pro. He knows what it is. He knows he's out of there. So he's doing a great job of handling the situation. Jimmy is what he is. He's doing well. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to bring you guys on. Just wanted to go over those couple things this morning. Appreciate everybody that's in the chat right now. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, download the app Underdog Fantasy, or go to underdogfantasy.com. Type in promo code Crocky when you sign up. And again, they're matching your whatever you put in there, they're matching it up to like $100. So go get you some money as a collective group this weekend on the 49ers against the Bengals. We did over-unders for that game with Jimmy Garoppolo, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, a few other guys, Mixon, and we came up $200. So again, that's going to go back to you guys. Somebody's going to win some gear, hoodies, hats, all that good stuff. I'm going to put together, have a little giveaway. Appreciate all the contributions and everything. So here we go, man. Let's get you guys in here. If you have any takes on what we've talked about today, feel free. Come on. If you're on Twitter watching, I think I posted it to Twitter. If you're on Twitter watching, you want to come over and have this conversation with us. We're on YouTube. Just type in Eric Crocker, should pop right up. All right. But definitely want to hear y'all opinion on this and give you guys, the voice. And again, I've always talked about how it's not all about me on this. I just come on here and I give my opinions. I love to hear your opinions and how you guys view things, see things, and maybe we can bounce thoughts off of each other. So everybody's in here right now, appreciate you. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff. Got my first person coming on, my guy Dion. What's good, man? Good morning.
Good morning, young Crocky. How you feeling, baby?
Oh man, I'm good.
Good, brother. Yeah, I've been listening to what you've been talking about. As far as seeing things for what they are when people play and giving people time to develop. And I get that. My question to you is, what would be the benchmark to say by now you should know this? That's my question. Like, yeah, I understand, Eric. That's Ambry Thomas's first game. I even calmed down on it and basically said, look, first of all, you're taking a press man corner, putting him in the zone. So that's already a disadvantage. Second of all, the man probably didn't even think he was going to be seeing the playing field for any reason, and randomly, most likely, like you said, got told, hey, by the way, Dante's not going to be here. You're starting tomorrow, and we're just going to put you in zone to cover it up because you probably have no idea what to do. And the game plan is going to be a little tough for you to learn in one day. But I would say, like, what will be a time frame for you to say, Ambry, you should know this by now? Because I think usually after about 2 years, you should be able to do your job properly.
Right. Well, okay. So there's two things there. One, I think, and I look at it from a couple of different perspectives. One thing is just, can the guy play? And that's the main thing. So I don't know. I couldn't really take much away from that because all they did was play such a soft, too high shell, cover 2 defense. So I can't even see, like, does he have legit man skills? Like, can he play? I mean, I saw it at Michigan, but as far as him in the NFL, I'm not sure. All right.
Okay.
But as far as understanding zones and things like that, and it's one thing to go through it in the game, especially even if they're game planning with you in there. But it's another thing to see it live, full speed. And, oh, by the way, you got the number 5 overall pick, Jamar Chase, across from you. And how does he change kind of, does he speed things up? Does he put you in a panic? Those type of things. And I saw some of that. So I would say, like, you'll start to know. We saw this with Ahkello Witherspoon, right? Remember, guys, they forget the process with Ahkello Witherspoon working to be a starter. He was inactive for some games to start out his career. And then eventually he kind of started to get in there a little bit. Then he had the concussion. Then he came in. Then he started. Remember, first they had Mantis, Rashard Robinson, and Dante Johnson. Those were the starting corners. But eventually he came in. He started against Philly, got an interception, gave up a catch to Alshon Jefferson. So you see, like, with Ahkello Witherspoon, it wasn't just a straight line, okay, you're just going to be the starter right away. He had to work towards it. And we saw, overall, we started to figure out who Witherspoon was. And he was a guy who was, man, some games you're going to love him. Some games you're going to be like, gosh, like, why can't I get what I got from before? Why the inconsistency, right?
Yeah.
So, and he would give you stretches of really good games, but you start to kind of figure out after the second year, it was kind of like, okay, he might just be a decent corner, but maybe just never be the guy, right? But I think it just takes time to truly understand and get the sample size of what a guy will be. And I think now, more than ever, it's really more so about the plays that you can make, to me, at the cornerback position. It's more so about, can you make plays? Because when you look around the league, look at Trevon Diggs. I think he's a terrific corner. I think he's good. I think he has a good skill set, but he's giving up the most yards in the NFL. Now, he's giving up the most yards in the NFL, so clearly he's getting beat at times, but then he goes and he shadows Terry McLaurin, and he, like, shuts Terry McLaurin down. So he has that ability as well. So I think, and then on the other side of things, he has 9 interceptions. So I don't know who is Trevon Diggs. Is he the 9 interception guy? Is he the guy that shut down Terry McLaurin, or is he the guy that gives up the most yards in the NFL? What part of his game do you want to take and say that's who he is? I'd say he's a playmaker. So, you value that. Is Ambry Thomas ever going to be a shutdown guy? Who is shut down in the NFL? Jalen Ramsey? Who else? Does being a shutdown guy because you get interceptions like a JC Jackson? Like, there's so many questions I have to where I'm just like, I just need a guy to make plays. So Ambry Thomas, maybe he just never shuts down a guy. Maybe he never is the coverage guy that 49er fans think he should be. But does he end up making plays? If he could do that, then I'd at least appreciate that.
Okay, yeah, that makes a ton of sense, man. That's definitely a great explanation on that. I personally think like a good 2 years tells me who you are and what you're capable of. Because yes, there are moments in anybody's career where you can see inflated numbers, but there are other things where they wind up sucking at. And when it comes to corner, it's one of the hardest positions to play in the league. And like I said in the comments, I felt like this was probably the worst game for him to start because you're going up against Jamar Chase and the T. Higgins. Had he started against Atlanta, it probably would have been a little bit easier because those receivers aren't as good as the previous two that were just named. So for me, hopefully he continues to get back, get himself together and start to understand the scheme and whatnot. With Dante, I don't know how long it's going to take for him to get back, man, because that man just lost his mother. And, if you like me, man, my mom is everything to me. And I didn't lose my mom, but I lost my pops. And when I lost my pops, homie, I was not the same person for a very long time. It took me a while to come out of that mental funk, and it'd take it to a dark place. But, hopefully Dante has a good support system around him. Prayers up for that man and his family. But, with Ambry, it's going to be, unfortunately, a little bit of a trial by fire. Okudah didn't look crazy good his first season, and then he wound up, I think he tore his ACL against us. So he pretty much got robbed, of this season because the injury, so you can't even play. So there's different things that come along with it. Like I said, I give to players about 2 years, and I should be able to know what you are in that time frame. I'm not a big proponent of watching players do some spectacular stuff 1 year and then they get magically paid, like they've been doing it forever. That's why the new CBA exists, because they were saying, players were basically getting more than what the veteran guys were, and these dudes have been doing it for years. I mean, Sam Bradford come in, $64 million contract, basically robbed the league because he was never healthy for a full year his whole career. So it's just stuff like that. But I appreciate you having me on, Crocky. Have yourself a good day, man. Stay blessed. You know what I mean? And continue to keep doing the content, man. You're doing an awesome job, brother.
Appreciate you, big dog.
Yeah.
All right. About to bring my guy Darius on. Real quick, I wanted to touch on one thing. I saw a comment here. I was like, man, got to make sure I get to this. Horrible excuses for Ambry. He's been on the team all year. He should know all the defensive plays, coverages, etc. by this point. So a couple things here, Brandon, and I appreciate the comment and the contributing to the show. Couple things here. One, I would ask you just straight up, what corner have you seen come into the NFL and just be good with no issues? What cornerback drafted first round, second round, third, whatever? What corner have you seen come into the NFL and you say, oh man, like he's so good. Like he's shut down. There's no issues. So that's the first question I would ask you. And you can name anybody, whether they drafted first round, second round, high, whatever, where you're just like, that corner is hella good. Name me one and we'll talk about it. All right. The other thing, you can think that, right? But until you're in that NFL room, those meetings and things like that, and understand how things are like pushed towards the starters and getting them ready, and not even just it doesn't even start during the season. During the season, it's more glaring. Like, bro, if you're a backup, you're not getting many reps. A lot of times, matter of fact, Ambry Thomas might be doing more scout team stuff than actually doing stuff that his own defense is doing. All right. But even then, it goes back to, I remember OTAs. You would think that that's a time like, okay, I'm third string. I'm going to get a bunch of reps. No, this is how it went. All right. So you're talking about, how what he should know and stuff like that. And a lot of this stuff, you got to see it and you have to have the plays and the reps. But this is how it went. Cromartie and the starters, right? They would get, let's say they get 5 reps. Then the second string would come in and they get like 5 reps. And then Cromartie and those guys would come in and get like 5 reps. And then the second string would come back in and get 5 reps. And then the third string get 3 reps. And then we move on to the next drill. So let's say that's 7 on 7. All right. And then you have your team stuff. And it's along the lines of the same. 5 reps for the first string with Cromartie and those guys. 5 reps for the second string. 5 reps for the starters again. 5 reps for the second string again. And then 3 reps for the third stringers. You just don't really see it a whole lot. And then it's even different once you're in the actual season. It's like 90%. The starters are getting all the reps and the looks to prepare for a game. So you could say it's horrible excuses, but until you understand exactly what goes into a game plan, like a real game plan, it's not like Madden where it's just like, oh, cover 2. Okay, cover 2. They game plan against looks. Okay, if you get this look and you get that, okay, if he motions over here, this is what we're expecting. Have you seen Luke Kuechly, right? They'll do him mic'd up. And you see Luke be like, he'll see the play, he'll see the guy. Hey, ball's coming here, ball's coming. Hey, bump over. And then you see him shoot a gap. And people are like, man, how does he know that? Well, film, preparation, and game plan, and what he's been seeing. And when you're the starter, that's how you prepare. Now, you could say, well, with Ambry Thomas, he needs to learn how to be a better pro and be able to prepare to that level so to where even if he's not the starter, he can come in and play like he's a starter. And you could say that, but be real, man, most rookies don't come in truly understanding that. It even takes time to understand that, like just the level of how you really have to prepare from a mental standpoint to be ready, even if you're not the guy and not getting those reps. That's hard. So again, you can say I'm making excuses. I'm just telling you the reality of the situation. So that's just my opinion on that. All right, here we go. Got my guy Darius coming on. Darius, what's good with you, big dog?
Oh man, everything under the sun, man. How you feeling, man?
Oh man, I'm chilling, feeling good.
So look, I'm gonna throw a name out for you, right? Before he got hurt, J.C. Horn.
Uh-huh. Oh,
You
as
think
far
he
as
came in
playing
the
well,
league
yeah,
balling? Yeah, playing well.
I thought
Yeah.
he came in playing well. We've also seen Patrick Surtain, he's playing well. Greg Newsome, he's playing well. I do think sometimes, again, and I'm not saying that these things have happened to them, but when you don't watch guys every play, right? Because JC Horn, and I like JC Horn, he's my favorite corner in this class. If he gets beat for a touchdown, you're probably not going to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're probably not going to see when Horn gets beat. Now you'll see, because we don't watch Carolina to that extent. We don't see every down. We don't see every play. We see everything with Ambry Thomas. Every single thing. We see every rep from everybody on the 49ers. There could be things with other teams. And again, I don't know. But there could be things that happen that we just don't see. And then, we see Carolina on TV. Damn, JC Horn is playing well. Okay. Now, maybe a Panther fan might be saying, shoot, about damn time. But as far as us, that's all we know. That's all we see. So I'm not saying that these guys aren't playing well. I'm just saying sometimes you don't truly know the extent of it. But it seemed like, yeah, JC Horn, I watched him a lot. He definitely was playing well.
Right. I feel like.
Hold on, real quick. I got to say this. Ambry Thomas gave up like 3 touchdowns this week and a couple last week. He's not that good, and he's probably going to need a couple years to get better. It typically doesn't take a couple years. Also, Ambry Thomas didn't play the week before, so he did not give up 2 touchdowns the week before. That was Diamador Lenore. But yeah, you'll know if he could play or not. You'll know that soon. Even as these games go on, you'll understand his strengths, his weaknesses, things like that. I have seen him like struggle, whether it's preseason, right now, whatever the case is. So I'm not saying he's good. I'm just saying I'm giving it time. That's all I'm saying. As far as saying like what he is or what he isn't. And I don't think it's going to take a couple years to truly know if he can play or not. But go ahead.
Yeah, I left the game kind of like down on Ambry a little bit, but then I had to really, like, I slept on it. Then I thought, like, man, he didn't really do as bad as I thought. And I really have a lot of faith in D'Amico because he kind of like he did a good job protecting him from
Mhm.
being overly exposed, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And these next 3 games, like this is like I hate to say it, but it's like perfect timing for these rookies to really get some experience. And I really want to see Ambry and Diamador get out there, man, because I'm not scared of the Falcons. Tennessee, their receivers is dope. You know what I mean? Brown is dope. I don't know if they still got Julio. If he's still, I heard he was injured, but I don't know if he's playing now. And then after that is the Texans. So it's like these next 3 games should really prep them. And my heart goes out to Dante Johnson. I don't know if he's going to be back or not, but let's just assume that he is. I don't think so though, because you got to do the burial and all that stuff. But let's just assume he is. I don't want him to take too much time away from Ambry or Diamador and whatnot, because like I said, these games, they're not too scary to where we could put these rookies out there and let them mix it up and really get a vibe for what's going on. Because it's like you said, like the best experience is game time experience, man. Like you're not going to just learn by just reading these playbooks and watching. Like you will, don't get me wrong, you will learn something, but it's nothing like getting
Right.
out there and really feeling it. Um,
And
with
that's
the
with anything in
whole,
life, right?
just touch a little bit.
Having a
Oh
having a
yeah,
YouTube
facts.
show, like I can see somebody do it, I can talk about it, but until you are live, and right now we got over 200 people watching, until you are live and have to talk and make sense of certain things and topics and have structure, and that's something that I have to improve on, right? But until you're in that
Hmm.
situation, like you could look at somebody else do it, see how they did it, feel like you learn. But once that live is on, it's a totally different ball game. So I think that's with anything in life, like
It's different,
actually
man.
doing it, to
Right.
improve.
And yeah, so I wanted to touch a little bit on the Jimmy thing, and then I got a question for you after that. But as far as with Jimmy, it's like, you know, I just hate how the Niners keep going about like it's so obvious the charade that you guys are putting on. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we don't want you. Oh no, now we won Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, man, just let this man play. Like, stop getting in his way. Like, he knows what's up. He's auditioning for other teams, and because I feel like when you do that, put it out in the press, it's like he has to deal with that. And I don't know how the next coach is going to deal with Jimmy, man, because Shanahan was so toxic with this dude. The relationship was so toxic, and it's like it's hard to like for example, it's hard to see him with Sean Payton and what that offense will look like with Jimmy behind there. It's like, what are y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna throw slants all day for him too? When you got Mike Thomas and he likes
Right.
to go deep, and you got whoever else, Emmanuel Sanders and all that, and but it is what it is on that. But I wanted to ask you though, man, because I watched Locked On 49ers last night, man. You had me pumped, man. What makes you think the way that Micah Parsons is playing that you rather see Dallas before Tom Brady, man? With that man, he's running through lines like wet toilet paper when you wiping too fast, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah.
And you talking about, oh yeah, we match up with them. And I used to say that too, right? But then I started thinking, well, you know what? We don't have I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name right now. I don't know why. He's my boy too, man. Our corner. We don't have thinking too
Brett.
fast right now. Emmanuel Mosley, my bad. We don't have Emmanuel Mosley right now. So it's like, you got CeeDee Lamb, you got uh, Gallup, and you got Amari Cooper. That's a whole lot to handle, plus 2 running backs. And our run defense has been stout for the past like month or so. Well, yeah, like the past month, 6 weeks. They've been doing their stuff since the adjustment. Eric Armstead inside, and it's looking real good. DJ Jones is doing his thing. It's looking dope. But I'm just like, damn. So you rather see Dallas before you see Tampa, really? Or even
Yes. Uh, Let me
let's just
explain.
say, yeah, give
Now,
me
if
that.
you're asking the
I want, yeah,
49ers,
let
if
me
you're
hear
asking the
this, man.
49ers, if you're asking the 49ers, they don't care who they see, right? And as fans, I mean, I just want to see the 49ers
Right.
in playoffs. I don't care who they play either. But if I'm sitting back and I get
Yeah,
to
that's
choose,
facts.
do I want to go see Dak Prescott or Tom Brady? That's what it comes down to me, because ultimately, like when you get into the playoffs and stuff starts getting a little tight, and unless your defense is just shut down, that quarterback, there's a big factor in there. And what I've been seeing from Dak Prescott as of late, There's been a lot of weird moments
we have
with the Cowboys.
We have a history of kicking. We have a whole history though of kicking Tom Brady's ass. He can't move out of that pocket. When Nick Bosa get on you coming down, Tom is like a sitting duck. He hates hitting that ground. Once he starts hitting that ground once, two, three times, here comes the picks.
Have you watched him live? Have you watched Tom Brady live? I mean, like at a game. At a game. Have you like been to a game and watched Tom Brady?
No, I haven't.
Listen.
I have not seen the GOAT yet. I have not been privileged.
I saw it live. I saw it live and direct. He in the pocket. It was crazy. And I'm in zone view too. So I get the back view and I'm just watching him. And I was blown away, bro. It was just like like just a musician, like just in their element where it's just, it don't matter. Okay, you rush this way. Okay, I'm just going to step up like this, slide this way. I know where I'm going with the ball, throw it out. I felt so helpless just for the defense. And so I don't want to see that. Like, there's no panic with him. And then the biggest stage, like we're in the playoffs, and that's the last dude I want. I'm telling you, I don't want to see. That's Killer Tom right there, bro. You got to see him live. It was so. You're right.
I mean, the playoffs is a whole nother element. So I hear you on that. It's just I think back to when he played for the Patriots, and it's like, man, we beat them. Like, you know what I'm saying? And Dak is a mobile quarterback. We struggle against mobile guys that could wiggle and jiggle. But you're right, though, at the same time, Dak has been a little soggy, and you can't catch them at the right time and clip them.
Hold on, when we beat them with Tom? I know the 1 year in the rain. Are you talking about that? Like 2012, 2013?
Yeah. And then we beat them in 2019, didn't we?
Yeah, but that wasn't Tom.
What? No, I'm just saying.
We beat them with Tom Brady. I mean, without Tom Brady last year. Like, no, you got the one game in the rain with Kaepernick and those guys, but you got to remember too in that game,
right?
The 49ers. It was a downpour. The weather was crazy, and the 49ers forced like 5 turnovers. And you had Deshaun Goldson picking off passes. You had Aldon Smith sack, fumble, 49ers recovering things. And even then, you had Colin Kaepernick who had to make some throws in that rain. I mean, there was one throw he made.
Yeah.
It was versus cover 3. He had double verts with Delaney Walker. And it was Delaney Walker and Vernon Davis. And it was like a cover 3 corner. And Colin Kaepernick threw this rope and like right over the cornerback. It was a perfect spot, touchdown. I mean, Colin Kaepernick in that game played at a high level. The touchdown to Crabtree late in it. I mean, I think he threw one to Randy Moss. I mean, like that was a big time game, and it took a whole lot.
Everything went right that game.
For the 49ers win that game.
Everything went
even
right that game.
The takeaways. So I mean, I wouldn't. Are you saying that Jimmy Garoppolo would be able to outduel Tom Brady to that standpoint? Like where it's like, Jimmy, you got to consistently make. I'm not saying he can't. We've seen him in the environment against Breeze, but I don't think that's really ideal.
I wouldn't put my money on him outdueling. Yeah, I wouldn't put my money on him outdueling Tom. It's just, I just kind of felt like Dak might have more weapons than Tom at this moment. But at the same time, I would love to see us kick Dallas ass.
So Mike Evans.
I think Dallas got the best receiving core in the league, bro.
Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown. I'm not saying
that
but I'm just saying I think it's a lose-lose. I don't think it's like and I like Cowboy, So if I look at the weapons, I think it's a wash in the sense of how those weapons are. They're good on both sides, but Tom Brady is better than Dak Prescott.
That's offending. That is offending.
And then Tampa.
I'm not gonna argue that. But then
49ers want to lean on the run game, right?
Let's talk about the defense too, though. Okay. Let's talk about the defense.
49ers want to lean on the run game, right? You can't run on Tampa.
Right.
You can't run on Tampa. So now we're saying that, Jimmy, you got to come into Tampa and you gotta beat Tom Brady. I forgot about Gronk. But
man, hold on, wait. No. I'm not gonna let you get away with that one because the Patriots ran on Tampa Bay. They ran on Tampa Bay kind of smooth. And I believe they're running back as a rookie, right?
Yeah, okay. You got to hope that the defense can remember. Now you're talking about too a Patriots defense that's one of the best in the league in the sense of, I mean, that Patriots defense is high level. So we got to hope
Yeah, they
that the
spent 50
49ers,
million.
and we don't know
Shit.
which version
They
of the
spent 50
49ers
million,
defense will
man.
show up. Oh no, man. That's
All
a
right.
scary.
All
I
right. I
don't want to
mean,
play
yeah.
them like right away.
Yeah.
Let me get a win. Let me get a win under my belt.
Because I'm just thinking about get some confidence.
Yeah, let me get a win under my belt, get some confidence, and then go play Tampa.
That's a fact. I think for sure though we could beat Green Bay. I mean, I'm not scared of them. If we got to go out there and play in the Ice Bowl, they got over on us that one game, bro. I feel like if Josh Norman didn't go out, Diamador wouldn't have been in to make that fucked up coverage play. I think Josh Norman would have been there and he would have been smart enough to know, you know what I mean, at least get a penalty. Don't just let the boy get down there on the other side of on our territory and catch the ball. But we'll see though, man. I just thought that I just wanted to highlight you about that though, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that was fun. I
You know
appreciate
what I mean? Yeah, man. But I just, you know, I'm just looking at like, you know, you got the DeMarcus Lawrence over there, and the other boy just came back with Micah Pearsons. I'm just like, damn, I don't know, but you definitely woke my game up just now. So we gonna rock with that, man. Thank you, Croc, bro.
all good.
Be smooth, man. Let's go. Let's take it.
Hey, that would be. I like the thoughts of the match. First of all, where we are right now, and I'm about to get to the next two callers, but we couldn't imagine having this conversation just a few weeks ago, right? Or about a month ago. 49ers were kind of down and out. Wow. So Patriots ran for negative -1 yard. That's crazy. Patriots defense, hella good, though. Hella good. That's crazy, though. -1 yard. I think it was Mac Jones was pretty efficient in that game. That defense, that Patriots defense is legit. I just, the fact that we could talk about playoffs, 49ers, and we talked about it last night on Locked On 49ers. If the 49ers beat Atlanta, right now, I guess their win percentage is at like 76% or something like that. Or their chance to make the playoffs at like 76%. If they beat Atlanta, it shoots up to like 95% chance. So 49ers win that game this weekend at home. Start getting those t-shirts ready, man. And then you got Houston after that. You just got to beat Houston. And I think 49ers win the next two games they're in. I believe that's how it works. We'll see. I don't want to get too far ahead, but the fact that we could talk about playoffs and certain matchups and things like that, man, that's just fun. That's fun. Playoffs atmosphere. I don't know how many of y'all have been to a playoff game. I went to my first playoff game last year or 2 years ago, 49ers against Green Bay Packers. I went to the NFC Championship game. That was awesome. That was awesome. It was just cool just being in that environment. Here we go. Got my guy Ryan coming on. Ryan, what's good with you, man?
What's up, Crockett, man? Can you hear me well? I got new headphones trying to see with my connection a little better. You Gucci?
You're good.
Oh, man, hey. We play the Dallas Cowboys in playoffs. My brother got a YouTube channel for the Cowboys. He got like 70,000 subscribers. We gonna hop on that. We'll represent for the Cowboys. For the Niners, and we'll get your brother to get on his side. We will battle it out because we'll get it cracking. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nothing like the Cowboys versus the Niners. And you know how intense that rivalry is. They beat us by 2 games, and my brother, they live it down. It's 17-19 right now. We down by 2. It sucks. It hurts. But anyway, yeah, man. I love. I really want people to really understand that, like you said earlier, it's gonna take time for the DBs to kind of get adjusted. It's only, like I said, they're rookies. You know, you got people who've been in the league 4-5 years, you know, and so our corners will be cool. I think their development fine. People always look at the fourth quarter, but the first 3 quarters, man, we was holding it on. We was holding our own. The Bengals they didn't even have nothing but like, what, it was 13 points on the board, something like that.
I think they had 6 points. They had 6 points.
Yeah, 6 points.
For most of the game. Into the fourth quarter, I think they scored 2 tugs.
So 6 points for a high-power offense with 3 dynamic wide receivers, you got to pat yourself on the back. You know what I mean? And so I think we're doing good on that end. Continue to let them young boys get that experience, get that time. and also see the game. Like you said earlier, when you got the crowd, and the intensity of the moments, man. You a rookie out there, man. It's like, dude, I'm in a real NFL game playing against a game that really matters right now. They still human, man. They still like this childhood dreams they live the first time, on the real stage. So I give them some grace, man. And yeah, I kind of like how he played. He tackled well. Ambry Thomas did. One thing he did do was tackle well.
I
And
mean,
I think
but
that he's more familiar.
a wise coach once told me, Croc, we don't pay you to tackle, we pay you to cover. So yeah, okay, tackle. Well, we want to take some positives, but you gotta cover. You gotta get it right. You gotta get that right on the back end in coverage.
I mean, true. I would say you pay Debo Samuels to receive the ball, but then he running all the time. That's what you get paid for. Somebody, I mean, Cooper Kupp would catch all he received. We pay you to receive, and so we can't. We pick and choose when we want somebody to be dynamic on one side and on the other side. So. In my opinion. But yeah, man, I think we will kill Atlanta.
Oh no, you're my bad, Ryan. I had to remove you. Your connection, it was going in and out. It was going in and out. Let me know if you get that fixed. I'm gonna get to the next caller real quick. Got my guy Roscoe's coming on. What up, Chris?
What's up, Croc? How's it going?
Chris, hold on. I got a question for you. You're a big Tom Brady fan. Have you ever watched him live?
No, I didn't get that opportunity.
Oh man, it's crazy.
I actually had the chance this year, but I think I just decided to go to New York instead.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, I was coming on here to defend the honor of Tom Brady because shout out to Darius. I like Darius, but he was so wrong on almost everything he said about that. All right, let's get into it.
Oh no, Niners, you can't tell somebody that their opinion is wrong.
No, it's not opinion. You were talking about the games that we played against, the Patriots. And first off, the Patriots and Bucks are two different teams. When Brady was on there versus what he's got in Tampa. Second of all, the Niners were up 31-3 against that Patriots team in 2012. Well, guess what happened? Brady marched them all the way back. And they had an opportunity to take the lead against us. Brady threw for 443 yards that game against our 2012 defense. They put up 24 points in the fourth quarter. And then the other time we played him, which is in 2016, he had 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
And that's the game I was at. Yeah.
Yeah, you do not want to see Tom Brady, especially in the playoffs, especially on the Tampa team who is tailor-made to beat us. Their DBs are not the greatest, right? But we can't run the ball on them. Like, that is almost a suicide trying to run the ball on them. You seen when the Cowboys played them, the Cowboys said, yeah, we're not going to run the ball on you guys. The Bills use their quarterback to run the ball. You can't. It is hard as hell to run the ball on the Bucks. And like you said, it's like, well, first off, Dak really hasn't been that type of quarterback to run like that, to be that mobile guy. I've watched him a lot. He doesn't really run like that. And then also, I think their offense has had troubles. I've seen it. Their offense have had troubles. And I think if the Niners are on their game, they'll have a much better chance of beating them than they have a chance of beating the Buccaneers. I mean, we talking about Tom Brady in the playoffs. I'm just
now at some point you got to beat the you know what I'm saying, you got to beat the big bad wolf at some point, right? So we're just talking about first round matchups. If we're looking at it, we could pick and choose. Like, hey, I'd rather have this matchup here. I would probably rather see the 49ers play the Cowboys. Now, Cowboys have some things that they do very well. They do a really good job of taking the ball away. I mean, they've been big time with taking the ball away. So for a team like the 49ers, who have been very undisciplined and have definitely been prone to turn the ball over in all aspects of the game, that's a scary part when playing the Dallas Cowboys team. Real quick, Chris, let's get to this super chat. Chris, I was reaching, bro. Damn, I'm not in the almanac like you, but Tampa Bay secondary is trash.
Yeah, they are. They're garbage.
Yeah.
But I would also say this. The Niners are going to be at a disadvantage at almost any team they play in the playoffs. We're not that good of a football team. So we're going to be at a disadvantage against anybody we play. Yes, we would rather play somebody who we have just a better chance at beating. Like I would say there's probably like a 30% chance of beating the Cowboys compared to like a 5%.
Right.
At a 5% chance of beating the Buccaneers. I would rather even play the Cardinals if we get an opportunity. Like I don't know how the season is setting up, but I'd rather play any of those teams. I think we match up well with the Cardinals or the Rams, like or even Green Bay, even though Aaron Rodgers he's on it. But I just would rather play with other teams. I'm not trying to see the greatest quarterback of all time in the playoffs, even though it would kind of be fun to watch. But yeah, I'm not about that life.
Hold on, here we go. So let me pull up the standings real quick. I can pull that up.
I got in late though, Croc. What did y'all talk about today?
So we started off just talking about, just the process of, development with rookies and how, it's like, I'm seeing tweets and I talked about how, a lot of my topics come from the posts of the fans and kind of what I'm seeing being said on social media. Then I come on here and I talk about those different things and don't have me back. So, just talk about those things. And I talked about Ambry Thomas and how, yeah, it wasn't a great performance, but obviously, I mean, you heard Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward was like, well, it was good enough to win, and that's good. But just all right, what goes into development and what's the process like, and how much patience do you have to have? We touched on those things. Then we touched a little bit on Peter King's comments on Jimmy Garoppolo, basically saying, oh, well, 49ers haven't ruled it out that he'll be here next year. And my thing is, well, they can't. They're in the middle of a playoff run with Jimmy as their starting quarterback. They can't just come out and say, oh, yeah, Jimmy ain't going to be here, but good luck the rest of this year with him. Like, you can't do that. But I think the writing is on the wall. Most people understand that and what the situation is. And listening to some of the people talk about it, it sounds like the players understand what the situation is. But and it kind of just, it is what it is. You drafted somebody number 3 overall, eventually that guy's going to play. But yeah, so those are some of the main things that we talked about.
I think it's so unnecessary for articles like that to come out. I just don't get it. Like I think we all know what it is, but he released an article like that. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, are you just trying to create content? Like, what I don't know what it is, but Peter King, I just don't. That did not make sense to me. Even Ian Rappaport a few weeks ago, that report didn't make sense to me. You have him saying, "Oh yeah, Jimmy's done. He's not coming back." Then you have Peter King saying, "Oh, the Niners are undecided." But like you said, that was probably the Niners covering themselves. Like, "Oh no, we got to make sure we put out that we're still undecided. We possibly may keep you." But yeah, you don't want to do that. The vets are listening. You don't want to do nothing stupid like that. And then my last question is, how do you think the Niners have been developing rookies, the Shanahan era?
Okay, so good question. I think there's so much that goes into the process of developing guys. I think most people think that it's from a technical standpoint, but it's really not. When it comes to developing rookies, most of it is from a mental standpoint. They come into the NFL with so much to learn mentally, and the game is so sped up and it's so much faster. The players, you got to understand, going from college where you have all these different things to worry about, right? College, you got classes, you got all this other stuff you got to do, right? NFL, you got football. That's it. So these guys, from a mental standpoint, one, their preparation is much different. The preparation is on point. The mental preparation of everything is crazy. So when you get to the NFL, there are going to be learning curves with rookies. Most guys aren't just hitting the ground running. Most guys, unless they came from, a program that really prepared them for that. And most programs aren't. Now, Alabama, they do. I remember coming in as a rookie. I was coming from a Division II school. We ran simple coverages. We had D. Milliner, number 9 overall pick, coming from Alabama. He knew all the verbiage and all the language and everything already. It wasn't anything new to him. So his learning curve mentally wasn't as steep as mine. You know what I'm saying? With what I was going to be asked to do. So there's that aspect of it. And then, for certain players, let's say a quarterback, everybody thinks about, Trey Lance learning Kyle Shanahan's offense and being able to, it's just tough learning the, to spit out things in the huddle, be confident with that, break the huddle, come to the line, know what all your guys are doing and what Kyle Shanahan wants you to do. And then learning from the defensive standpoint of reading the defense and what the defense is doing when defensive looks are so much different than the NFL than they are in college. So there's just so much that goes into it that Kyle Shanahan, in the midst of trying to make a playoffs, he only has one winning season in 4 years. It's hard for him to really focus on that aspect of it. So I think he's looking at it more so as, if a guy is ready to play right now, we'll play him. If not, we'll get to that when we get to it. But right now, we're really focused on winning more so than bringing along a 3rd-round rookie or even a 1st-round rookie who is your quarterback that you drafted.
All right. Thanks, Croc. Appreciate you answering my question.
All good. Thanks for coming on. Hope that makes sense for everybody out there listening. And, I'm going to bring a guy on. I'm going to reach out to a 49er that was a part of tough, teams that weren't that great, and then was on great teams with the 49ers with the, the hardball years, was a starter during that time, started off as a guy who wasn't a starter. I won't say who he is. Yeah, I want it to be a surprise, but I'm going to reach out to him. We follow each other on Instagram. He did me a solid one time when I did this little article or whatever. So I'm going to reach out to him and see if he'll come on the morning show and just talk a little bit about just the process and development, what went into his situation. A guy who wasn't a starter for a few years, then ended up being a starter on a great team. So I see somebody, my guy Peter Lee said, bring Dante Whitner. I don't have any relations with him, or I've never had a conversation with Dante Whitner, but I'll try to reach out and see if he'll come on. But this guy, I've had interactions with him, so I'll see if he'll come on in the morning and bring a little bit more perspective. Mike Rumph, I don't know Mike Rumph personally, but I do know someone that coached with Mike Rumph. And as a matter of fact, is Marco Wilson's dad. So I've had Marco Wilson on here. I've had Marco Wilson's dad on here, and he talked about all that. So what I'll do is I'll reach out to him and see, hey, man, you think I can get Mike Rumph on here? He coached with Mike Rumph in high school, so high school football. But anyways, man, Underdog Fantasy, promo code Crocky. Download the app right now. They'll match whatever you deposit. Do that, promo code Crocky. Manscaped. You see I got the shirt on today. Got the Manscaped stuff behind me. All right. Manscaped.com, don't stop walking around looking crazy. Go get sexy for your lady. Trim everything up nice and neat. I'm telling you, start turning into a, amateur porn star. Not like a real porn star, but amateur porn star. Start doing all kind of moves. Y'all don't believe me, but I'm telling you, look at whatever your sex life is right now and then be like, damn, am I hitting all the moves and all that? And you're probably not. But if you want to, I'm telling you, you do a little manscaping, it's going to change your confidence in the bedroom. I'm trying to tell y'all. So manscaped.com. They got the Performance Pack 4.0. You want to really take your relationship, and spark that flame again, get the Manscaped and manscaped.com, promo code Crocky right now. Bro, you changed the name of your channel again? I know, man. I know. Listen, I talked about it. With business, there's certain things you try to figure things out. And I wanted to do things the right way. So I just changed it back. Okay, let me do my name. And I'm restructuring everything. But I'm trying to restructure things in the beginning stages, because at some point, Frontline Sports Media is going to be big, right? I watched the video of Pat McAfee, and I heard about the money that he got and everything like that. And I don't do this for money like that, but I strongly believe in manifesting and speaking things into existence. And if you put enough work in, you'll get whatever it is that you're trying to do, you'll get that out of it. And I really feel like Frontline Sports Media is going to be something, it's going to be real good to people. You know, it's going to be good. But it's like, I got to do it the right way. So I don't think it's, you know, originally it was like, all right, I'm just going to change my YouTube name to Frontline Sports Media and do it that way and have people come on and then, you know, sit down talking about with other people. I was like, you know what? Do it the right way, E. Set everything up, do it the right way. So yeah, that minor change, but I'm branching out. I'm giving everybody their own YouTube shows. We're having a hub of Frontline Sports Media, and it's gonna go that way. You could be the next Pat McAfee, bro. I'll say this about Pat McAfee. One, I have to become the entertainer that he is. He's really good at what he does. See, I can talk football, like, of course, but I also know when somebody's better than me. And there are some people that talk football or just talk about sports better than me. So that's where, and I'm realistic with where I'm at, where I'm trying to go, where I think things can go. I have to improve on certain things, improve my topics, improve my delivery, improve just the entertainment aspect of it, my production, right? Those are all things that I want to get better at. Pat McAfee, he has all those things down. Now, you also probably have more money to invest in those things and get it right away. Maybe I need to reach out and get some investors, all right, so I can get a legit, you know, producer of the show and get everything up. But I have to get better with that aspect of it. I understand that. It's going to take time, man. Just like rookies in the development process of rookies in the NFL, same thing with me, you know, getting involved in this aspect of things and the vision that I have. And I got my guy, Marco. Wouldn't be able to do a lot of this without my guy, Marcos. He's running the channel right now. We will put the link in the description to where you guys start to follow those different things and the different podcasters that we have. So just bear with me. Bear with me through these changes. Bear with me. I appreciate everybody that's in here. I appreciate all y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all for staying down. We're going to keep it rocking, man, right here. Frontline Sports Media. I'm out, man. Peace.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Crocker. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Crop Talk TV podcast. Peace.